Spoken word 4. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap. Ecclesiastes 11 verse 4. I write this piece for those who are convinced of the next step to take but are wondering whether or not to act. Months before I purchased my university forms, I was contemplating between continuing to work as a science teacher in a junior high school or advancing to the university. I had qualified excellently, but the lack of funds was a big mountain to overcome. I have not raised much from my current employment. My parents did not have enough to support me, and I was wondering what step to take. My family was concerned about my welfare and possible hardships I would be going through if I furthered my education immediately. They wanted me to work for at least 3 years before going to university. I was undecided for a while, but gradually tilting towards waiting for a few more years until a senior from my senior high school, who was studying computer science in Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, brought her niece to the school where I was teaching at the time. She told me she had heard I was teaching in this school, but has never met me anytime she was around and brings her niece to school. Her interest that morning was my plans for furthering my school. I gave a lot of excuses and explanations, but she proved with figures that it was not as expensive as I think. If I press a little more, I can even fund it from my own savings. This made me give my decision a more prayerful thought. I spent time praying and reading my many Bible passages as I was contemplating on the issue. Through my Bible readings, I came across this verse, Ecclesiastes 11 verse 14, and God used it to urge me forward. Hope, don't wait for perfect condition, else you will not act. I don't need to have all the answers to start. What I have to do is to have enough to begin. The subsequent challenges will be addressed as they appear along the way. I also personally realized the first step is the most difficult step to take because you don't have all the answers. Truthfully, you don't need to have all the answers before acting. This is not to discredit proper planning and preparation, but I have realized that our quest for a perfect time robs us of taking action. Do you have a little to start with? That school, marriage, or business? Start now. What about if I fail? Through that failure, you will learn lessons no book or seminar will teach you. Waiting for more years is no guarantee of changed circumstances. In my case, I did not believe my family would suddenly become financially sufficient by the next year, or I would raise so much funds from my salary within a few years. I had to start with a willingness to cope with the challenges that will accompany the start. It was difficult initially, but I lived through them. I accepted the challenges as the price for my next stage of greatness. God gave me many surprises along the way, but I wouldn't have enjoyed them if I had refused to act despite the present circumstances. After completing the university, I noticed my former colleagues still stuck with a job they don't like but can't quit either. They were simply refusing to upgrade themselves. Still waiting for perfect conditions? No, start now. Start small, start now. For reflection, what projects are you yet to start? What is keeping you from starting them? Who would you talk to for encouragement to start? Amen.